In today's episode, we're going to be doing some Mexican style beer, quite possibly Tex Mex. Stay tuned. How's it going, guys, and welcome back to Booze and Chill. And in today's episode, we're heading towards that Mexican style beer, but not entirely. I say that because it is a Mexican style beer, but brewed in Texas. Good old Texas. Because nobody can do Mexican better than Texas. Am I right? Right? But let's not waste any more time, guys. Let's go ahead and go right into the reviewing part of the video. And today's video is the Alesmith Classico Mexican Lager. Before we jump into the pouring and whatnots, let's talk about the can here. As you can see, you got the classic eagle eating the snake's fucking head off. Nothing is more Mexican than that. It's what you would see in the Mexican flag. And you got the nice white with the nice splash of gold right on there. And in the back, you got in giant fucking letters the Alesmith logo right on there, and that awesome anchor logo that they got. It's kind of funny because you can actually see the Tex Mex in here. It goes from Mexican, Texas, Mexican, Texas. But that's enough of that. Let's go ahead and open this up, give it a pour, and get right on to the first part of this review, shall we? And as you can see, we got the Mexican lager already ready to go. It is looking very, very light. It's looking all kinds of crispy. I'm not very used to seeing Mexican beer being poured into a glass. Typically, when I see Mexican beer, it's being drinking straight out of the bottle or out of the can, because that's just how it's done here, I guess. Unless you're making something else out of it, like a beer mix, then that's a totally different story, right? But that's enough of that. Let's go ahead and jump right into the first thing that we do here in this channel, and that is the smelling. Get right down to that smell, guys. Cheers. It's got a typical beer kind of smell, but this one kind of is packing more like there's Mexican food in here in this one. The smell reminds me of whenever the family gets together and has like a carne asada or barbecue, depending where you're from. It takes me back to all the tortillas and the beer, the Mexican beers, and all that good Mexican food that we're always having around when we get together. Makes me want to round out the family and start my own carne asada. But the smells, like I mentioned, very typical Mexican type of smells, very earthy. I want to say there's a little bit of corn tortilla, or a little bit of tortilla. Actually, yeah, I'm smelling a little bit of tortilla. Or like when they wrap the tortillas, when they put them in the microwave to like heat up, that's kind of what it smells like. Well, guys, I think that's enough of that, because not only am I thirsty now, I'm getting a little bit of craving for some tacos. But let's go ahead and end that there, and let's jump right into the next thing that we do here in the channel. And y'all know this by now, the tasting. Cheers.
Ooh.
Not your average Mexican style beer. The fact that this beer was actually made with German malt completely takes this Mexican style beer to a whole different level. I find that whenever I do have a Mexican beer, there's always that kick that it leaves right behind after you're done with it. This one, on the other hand, goes down very smooth, and it does not leave that kick that I mentioned about with the actual Mexican beers. Way to go, Texas. Leave it right down in the comments. Does this sound Tex-Mexy to you? feel like it's kind of right up there a little bit. But I gotta say, I feel like they did this just right. Cause something about the actual Mexican beers that I just don't seem to enjoy very much. I'm not saying that they're bad, but there's just something about it. It goes down pretty light with an ABV of 5.2. So you can probably just, probably kill a good 6-pack of these. Drink responsibly. I can definitely see myself drinking this in like next carne asada. And like I mentioned, it doesn't leave that Mexican beer kick at the end. Way to go, Alesmith Brewery. Very good, very excellent. If this does not bring out the Mexican out of you, it will definitely bring out the Tex Mex. Or if you get enough of these in your system, it will probably bring out the drunken ass out of you. Just like that one brother-in-law who gets really drunk and just starts talking all sorts of nonsense and politics. But that about settles the tasting part. As you can see, I'm almost done with it. It's actually really good. So let's go ahead and move on to the last parts of these reviews, and that is my final thoughts. My final thoughts on the Alesmith Mexican Lager. It is goddamn good. Or should I say, ta con madre, bro. Like I mentioned before, it goes down very smooth, very light, but it really kicks in with those flavors. Literally feels like I'm having like a really nice corn tortilla with this thing. Which brings me to the pairing. Like I was saying, this will go good with a carne asada, bro. Some nice fajita, some brisket, some ribs. But I'm talking like real like Mexican food. Like go to your abuela's house or go to your tío's house. You know, the ones that can kill like 224 of these? Those are the ones that you want to go to actually make the good authentic Mexican style food. You know, to make the right pairing with this here lager. Another cool thing about this beer is that is a year-round beer. And you can also find the Mexican Classic Lager in keg form, which I can only assume that is only at the brewery, which is located in San Diego, California. But that about wraps things up for this review today, guys. I'd like to thank you so much for stopping by and checking out the channel. And if you enjoyed today's Mexican Classic Lager review, por favor, pégale like y hazle share. Cause who does not enjoy a good old Mexican beer here every now and then, right? Once again, thank you guys so much for stopping by, and I will see you in the next video. And remember, if you keep watching, I'm gonna keep drinking. Cheers.